Hello, everybody. I'm here with Aya Chan. She has a YouTube channel here on YouTube, and we've been working together for about 2 months now. And I'm really excited to introduce her to you guys because she's doing amazing, remarkable work through the healing arts. And yeah, we've just had like quite a beautiful little relationship blossom between us. And yeah, we're going to do some light language today. It's going to be like a collaboration. We've got some news about Aya to share at the end, where she's launching a project that I think some of you guys will be interested in. But just to begin, do you want to just like briefly introduce yourself? I know that's like a hard thing to do sometimes, but you know, as
Sure, of course. Yes, thank you so much for having me with you. It's been such an honor and like such a transformative experience to work with you in your Diamond Codes and VIP. And yeah, where to begin? I had two really transformational sessions with Bridget and feeling so called to step into like offering my own medicine. I mean, I've been doing it essentially for a few years now, but really stepping into offering it myself like on a platform such as YouTube. Like I just started doing light language videos that was totally inspired by Bridget as well. And yeah, I'm going to be launching a program of my own, which we'll talk about. But yeah, I'm just really stoked. I've been an energy worker, a body worker, and what else? I'm sorry.
a shadow worker.
Oh yes, very much. Oh yeah. So a little bit about myself. I went through my first spiritual awakening like about 10 years ago. And then recently, about a year and a half ago, I went through like a really intense Kundalini awakening, which kind of just like brought all these things up for me to do. Like the theme of my life has been shadow work. So I feel really called to guide others, who are going through their own awakening processes to integrate this like really big, shift that so many of us are going through. And what else? Yeah, I don't I don't know exactly what to talk about right now, but I'm sure we'll get
Yes,
into
that's
more
fine. No,
topics.
that's really cool. Yeah, well, you were already doing light language videos before we started working together. Like you'd already taken that leap into the unknown. Um,
Yeah,
but
I actually started channeling light language without knowing what the heck light language was, and I find that to be a really common thread for many of us. I feel like we've been doing it. Some of us have been doing it our whole lives without knowing, and it's such a beautiful like practice that I'm stoked to be able to share and to know what I'm doing. It's been really liberating and yeah, just an amazing experience to finally like come into a gift of mine and to share that. It's been a long journey for me to get here.
oh my god, it's a long journey in general. Like with all of the
Sure.
different stuff that comes up, especially sharing yourself publicly. Like definitely, it's a huge step. Um, but yeah, do you want to talk? I mean, you have so much wisdom. Like seriously, you guys, she is just like such an incredible person. There's so many different things that I want to ask you, but like maybe we could start with the whole like soul realignment stuff
Mm,
because that's been life changing for both of us and has also informed like the work that we want to do in the world in certain ways. So I started studying soul realignment like beginning of 2020, and it was like transformative, but also kind of like destructive as well. Like you have to kind of recognize a lot of truths about, energy dynamics and like soul origins and all soul orientations and all these different things. But ultimately, it really centered me in an understanding of who I am as a soul, right? So like that deeper element of soul, like level being, right? That's so much beyond just this life. And it puts a lot of things into different perspective because I definitely am someone that was like so interested in a million different things. And sometimes it would be hard for me to just like pinpoint like, who am I though? And like, what am I actually here for, etc.
exactly.
So
This is a monster that plagues many of us, I feel. Like,
I
what am
totally,
I?
which is like kind of a beautiful plague to have. Like, oh, I'm interested in an abundance amount of things, but at the same time, it's like we got to focus. We only have, like we got to use our time well. So
Yeah.
I did my own reading like of my soul gifts is what the course calls it. And by the way, it's called Soul Realignment by Andrea Hess. And if you're
Mhm.
interested, go check it out. It's an amazing resource. It's definitely something that now Aya is studying and
Yeah.
changed her life as well. Do you want to talk briefly about soul realignment, like how it's like impacted you and your
Yeah.
perspectives on things and stuff?
Absolutely. I mean, the question that I always had was like, what is my purpose? Like, what am I here to do? And soul realignment has really helped me narrow down. Like, so the first thing kind of that Bridget told me was my energy centers, which is the fifth, which is like divine love.
Or
And then, oh, sorry, four,
yeah,
4 and 6.
we do have a fifth gift too, but that's a separate.
Right. That's why we were just talking about that so much. The fourth is the heart, essentially, divine love. And then six is third eye, which is divine truth. So essentially, like everything that I've been working to get out there in the world is in alignment with those two things, which the heart is all about being a healer and holding sacred space and relationships. And the sixth one is about being like clairvoyant and being a seer and seeing the truth of people and like kind of just speaking that truth. And so essentially what I'm trying to do in my work is to hold sacred space for, and channel whatever wants to come through, as well as through my throat that's being activated with light language and such. But yeah, just to help those, like, all of you, I mean, not all of you, but whoever I work with, to see their truth and to align with their truth and their soul's blueprint, because that's like the biggest gift that I feel that we have for this incarnation, is to really be who we are and share those gifts that
Wow.
truly like are, yeah, invaluable.
Mhm. Yeah,
Yeah,
and I
that's
mean,
how we're
we
gonna
know,
be abundant too. That's
well,
how we're gonna be
because the
abundant.
more you align, the more abundance you can actually experience. And it's
Exactly.
abundance isn't just money. Like abundance
Right.
is, the abundance of healthy relationships and fulfillment from your life, and abundance of time to spend on what you want to spend it on, and da da da.
Exactly.
Yeah. So the most basic level of soul realignment is understanding the soul gifts, which is the energy centers, which there are 8 in that course, right? But then there's also the soul origin, which is funny because we both have this strong Arcturian influence in our souls. And the interesting thing I think about Arcturian energy is that it doesn't always like to be public. It doesn't
Yes.
always like to be seen and witnessed by the world. So it's like we're pushing through this like soul level thing of like, how do I be authentic? And share that I like see things in a way that's maybe different to like the dominant narrative, and that's totally your third eye. Like third eye gifts, you guys, amazing. It's all about like the observation of what is really going on. It's really sacred feminine energy as well. So is the heart. The heart chakra gift, like you just want to be around people with heart chakra gifts because it's just healing. Even if you're not practicing healing, like you're just a healer. It's just the energy you emanate throughout the world. It's beautiful. Yeah.
For really nurturing and seeing that in me. I mean, just to be seen for who I truly am, it's been the most healing thing. And yeah, it's been a lot, to come out like as who I am. Like I feel like I'm coming out of the closet in a way, like the spiritual closet, or like that,
Yeah.
just yeah, in general, like yeah. It's
For
been
sure. As so many people would resonate with that experience, and like, that thing of like keeping the spiritual thing, like this is separate and isolated, and then I am who I have to be over here. And it's like, no, it's
right.
all one thing. And it's like when we integrate it, we free up so much energy from like keeping it over here and keeping that over there and controlling it and that.
It's
For sure.
story of my life up until pretty recently.
Yeah. I also wanted to ask you about, well, because now I'm just like tuning in and I'm realizing you have these like sacred feminine gifts of like the third eye and the heart. Like, hello,
Mhm.
so divine feminine. Um, but like so through our relationship, that's, still very like early on, but we'll see where it goes. But, we've like realized a lot of how much it's healing to be in relationship with another woman or another divine feminine, beyond the gender stuff, but in a
Right.
relationship with another divine feminine who it can be like we can celebrate each other in that space, we can support each other and help each other out. And like Aya's like really been helpful to me, like showing me things that I'm like needing to like be more like, you know, structured and business like and all this stuff, because that's something that I'm just like so chaotic about. But like
It works.
I don't know how it works, but I would like to be able to somehow articulate into words like, what the heck is it that I do exactly? Like, that was
Yeah.
the feedback you gave me. You were like,
Bridget really downplays herself. I feel she is so much. I mean, I feel like your audience knows and sees and feels who you truly are, which is so beautiful
yeah.
to see, like your comments and how much love is surrounding you just by being who, like, you're really such an example for so many of us, myself included. And yeah, your light like really helps us to shine in our own. And so, I
Yes.
mean, yes, I feel like we all have our strengths. Like you're very strong in the divine feminine and just you know all your gifts, and then I feel like I'm on the other other end of the polarity in the divine masculine sometimes too.
You're
But
very good in that, like in that realm. That was what I channeled for you at the beginning. Actually, I remember in your reading, I was like, oh my gosh,
yeah.
you're like, yeah. Um, but yeah, so coming back to the relationship with a woman, like a female, a feminine energy, where it can be like celebratory, because we were exploring before we hit record, we were having like a little chat and we were talking about like this idea of like the sister wound or the brother wound, because it goes both ways for, you know, men and women. This like
Mhm.
wounding around, you know, trying to dim our light in order to make other people feel more comfortable, or trying to, you know, like you said to me at the start, like walking on eggshells around certain, you know, especially women, because it's like, I don't know if I'm gonna like, you know, be too much or trigger and all this stuff. And it's just been like super healing, because we've like recognized that in each other. It's like, oh, we don't have to do that in this space. Like there's no like, you know what I mean? None of
Mhm.
that shadow shit coming up. Do you want to
Totally.
speak to your experience of that?
Yeah, I mean, the first thing that comes to mind is like, you're my soul family. And I'm so grateful that you're in my life. And it can be like that, right? Like when we clear space and really call in, like, you know, those soul family, like people, you know, whether it's like romantic or just friendships, like yeah, I feel like we can really be seen, and we don't need to actually like continue on with the old paradigm of like, you know, just not being authentic. Like we're really being called, I feel, in this year and beyond, to like confront what isn't true and isn't working for us. And we know it, you know, we know deep down our truth is just not with certain people in our lives that we need to start, you know, like having boundaries with, and taking our energy back and creating space for those aligned relationships. And I totally have been doing that in my life, and that's where I feel like I've opened space for relationships like you.
Yeah, true.
And it's the most magical thing. And like I just am so grateful for,
Yeah.
I mean, all the trials and all the hardships have been worth it, you know, to teach me who I truly am. And yeah, just the divine feminine aspect of um being receptive to that has been huge for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's that sense as well of like picking up on, because energy relationships can look all fine on the surface level, right, in the physical manifestation of it, but it's like really honoring like how does it actually feel in that non-physical aspect of the relationship, and in
Mhm.
that energy exchange that is so, you know, we have to use our intuition to really like tap into that. And also for me, I have this pattern of like having that intuition come in, but then like old me historically would just be like, oh, but I just need to like gaslight that out of myself, because, you know, that was the experience I'd have of like, you know, oh,
Mhm.
that's not what's going on, you're wrong, etc. So
Mhm.
it's kind of like when you finally, or when I finally like honored that, the truth of that energy exchange that's really going on there, it's like, oh, suddenly, you know, you instantly like raise standards.
Exactly.
You know, I will not tolerate those kinds of like creepy, like undercurrent energies. And it's also, I think for me, I've had huge initiations recently into understanding like the importance of honoring that unseeable energy, like the one that's beyond the physical, like because that is truly the we were talking a bit about the suppression of the divine feminine and how in order to operate in that kind of energy dynamic, you have to kind of suppress yourself at third eye level, at the level of truth, right? Because you have to kind of be like, well, I'm just going to participate in this competitiveness or in this jealousy or in this, comparison stuff.
We always have choice, right? Of
Yeah.
what, yeah, like by choosing to continue that dynamic, that's us giving our power away essentially. So like ultimately it's all about empowering and taking your choice back and how you want to like engage in every interaction in every moment. Like it's truly
But
empowering
that's
to do that.
that's what soul realignment teaches as well. Like karma is choice. Like what is our karma? It's the choices that we make. And yeah, sometimes we come in from our past life and we've got a predisposition to making certain choices that aren't serving us, right? And that's how we play out and we recreate our karma. But we still always have the ability to choose again. And that's the biggest part of changing karmic patterns is like, oh, I have to choose differently. I have to use this will, this life force that I have to make a new choice, and therefore I create a new karma. It's super empowering though at the same time.
Yeah, that's what I like about soul realignment too, is like shedding light on what those are, like because otherwise it's not like really common knowledge, like just to like be able to tap into the Akashic records and find out what you've been working with like lifetime after lifetime, and to heal tears and all those things. So yeah, this work has been incredible. Can't wait to share that with you.
Exactly. So I was going to be able to do readings for people as well as part of her work, as well as the light language stuff, which is so valuable. Like we wanted to make clear, like the energy centers, like even that alone, like life changing. Like she's like, oh, this is who I am. And also it's that hilarious paradox of like sometimes who you are, you're like, oh, is that it? Like, of course that's who I am. But it's like, no, but that's your gift. And that's something you said to me before we started recording. You're like, but it's understanding that like who you are is your gift.
Yeah.
You want to speak to that?
Yes, I'm so like passionate about that. Like I really I think it's that sixth, energy center that really wants to like see everyone living their own truth, like your truth is going to be different from everyone else's truth, and only you know your truth, right? So yeah, I just feel really called. Like I feel like my work is to just empower people to like find their truth and live in alignment with their soul purpose. And yeah, like knowing that I'm an Arcturian, like I'm coming out as an Arcturian starseed. It's like it's so crazy for me to like say that. I've never really said that to anybody, but yeah, just like owning that. And like I just feel all this like life force coming to me every time I like just claim and like stand in the truth of who I am. And I just want that for everybody to claim and to, yeah, just reclaim their birthright of, and also like you get to decide who you want to be too, right? But usually like your soul, like whoever you are at soul level is going to feel, that's going to feel most aligned. Yeah. So hopefully that's all making sense. I feel like I'm yeah, okay.
Well, speaking on the whole, like
Yeah, we're supposed to or we were wanting to bring in some Arcturian light language.
Oh yeah, why don't we dive in then?
Okay, cool.
Do you want to go first?
Sure, why not? Is there any like intention?
Well, I did pull the heart chakra card for us.
Oh yes,
Maybe
that's right.
we could do heart healing.
Yeah, so I've been really feeling into, both of us actually have really been feeling into like divine mother energy and like healing of the inner child and just like opening the heart to receive love. So I will go ahead and intend for that to come through. Naka tio kuana tiu kuasi kiana taku kuana kikio ko tusu kuana maki tiki kiki ataka nikisi. Ani kia o ko atati kia nakasi. Urutuku anaka te reti kia rataka ni kia rataka te kisi kia naka o ko rataka naka tasi ki reti kia rataka. Urutuku anaka te kisi kia rataka naka tisi kia o ko ana. Urutuku anani anani rataka tini ara kuku anaka si ki reti kia nata rataka o ko atasi. Wanaka te kia o roto ko anaka si kia rataka o kuataka o ko tuku roto ko anaka si ki ni ana ni o kuata ni ana ni o kuata ni kia te kia o ko suku anaki o kuataki kia o ko anaka te kia ni kia si kia o ko anaka ta. O ko anaka si ki tieni ni ana kata o kuati si ki anaka. Just feel my heart overflowing with love for you and for anyone watching.
Aww.
Ani ni ani kia te kisi kia naka te ki hoko anaka te kia te kia naka si ki hoko ata. We are all such innocent children of God, and remember that you are perfect and just innocent. Yeah. I'm sure more will come through, but I would love to open. If you'd like to come.
I feel it. It's just like coming to my heart. It's like, oh, so peaceful, so expansive. And the throat as well there. Chiquito yata. Nga yato chekaya. Ninda yato yaha. Yita yantuja. Ninga yato yanja. Utu tu yama. Inki yato shiki. Tai misha. Utu ribea yato ribea. Utu yato. Utu ribea. Utu semana pata. Yato ribea. Utu ribea. Utu ribea. Utu ribea. Utu ribea. Yamara kada paya. Utu ribea. Utu ribea. Utu ribea. Utu ribea. Utu ya beri yanda. Utu ribea. Utu ribea. Isu akita kusiatu dalam taishe tu jangan bagu tu ada berkat kan tu ada berkat deh berkat para kebekan tu ada berkat tu ada berkat mendia tu kan berkat mendia tu ada berkat tu ada berkat tu dia berkat dia sekarang mendia berkat dia dia ada berkat dia orang mereka ada berkat dia ada berkat dia sekarang banyak ada berkat dia sebenarnya berkat tu berkat tu
Ooh. Cracked open.
I saw when you were doing it, I like my eyes were going like you, and I like saw your I saw like a past life of yours when you were like a medicine woman, like a healer, and you had that divine like sort of like like you just held that frequency. Like I saw it like all around you in your aura as well, like almost like yeah, the divine mother energy, just like holding that like I love that language. It's so cool.
Thank you for seeing me. Do you mind if I share just a little more? I feel like more wants to come
Yes,
through.
of course.
Tininiana nininiana o toana kia te kiana ke te kiara te kiara te ke tiara ka te sio tu koana ka te kiara te kininiana ta ka te kia si kia ona ka te kio tu ara ta ka ni kia o sukoana. Riniana ka te kio ro tu koana ka si kia te kia o koa te kiana ka te kikia kia kokoa ta ka te kiana ka si. Niana na ni o koa te Auata ikiana ua ni ua siki ia ua nikiana ka sikiana ka ua. Ka te siki anaka o ko anaka te ki anaka siki anaka o ko anaka o au ko a te ki anaka siki o ko anaka te wataka siki a te ki anaka te ki o ko anaka siki a o ko anaka te ki I anaka siki o anaka. Thank you.
Thank you. Wow.
Oh. Ah. That happens a lot. I just start laughing.
Yeah, like it releases the energy.
I feel like that's actually part of like my medicine in a way, like my laugh, because in real life, I'm just like always cracking up. And people like start cracking up with me. And I just think laughter is such medicine.
It is. It's such a good
True.
way to energetically release. Yeah. That was
Absolutely.
divine. Oh my gosh, that was so beautiful.
Thank you
Again,
for
I keep
holding the
just getting
space.
this image of you, like this healer, just like standing there, like, mm. It was amazing.
Thank you so much. Really.
Aww. Yeah. Wow. Yeah, I really felt that heart gift of yours in that one. It was like, oof, wow. Mm-hmm.
The heart is definitely more open for me. It's
Yeah.
always been. Yeah.
Mhm. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Hmm. I mean, it's always just like, it's always just so funny, like moving from light language into like back into human talk. It's like, hey, let's
I
go
know.
back into the reality. Okay, let's do it. But I,
No. Light language is so much easier than like talking.
me too. Like I literally like people are like, no, but what are you saying? When I just talk light language to them, I'm like, can't you just feel it? And they're just like, no, just tell me, like, be explicit. I'm like, fine, I was saying this. All right.
It's almost like limiting the expression because it's so beyond like words, right? Because like words are pretty limiting in its own way.
Mhm. It is, yeah.
Yeah.
But using our words, I did really want to ask you about energetic hygiene because that was like some awesome wisdom that you were talking to me about. And
Mhm.
yeah, you go.
Yeah, for sure. It's a practice that I've learned from my own mentors, and it's been a real big game changer. And I'm like, I know that Bridget has talked about it in her own way, but it's really just such an important practice to have a daily practice of releasing energy that isn't yours. And no matter how much we try to like protect or shield or what have you, like we're just we're living here and we're constantly interacting with so much energy, right? And inadvertently we'll pick up other energies, and so it's just a really beautiful practice to like maybe first thing in the morning and the last thing you do at night, just at the bare minimum. If you can do it more, then great, but essentially just like sitting in meditation just for a few minutes and envisioning yourself in a container, your safe space. And I mean, I can kind of just like walk through the process right now, of envisioning yourself in a sacred space, an energetic container resourced by deep earth energies and universal energies from your guides and your spiritual team. And yeah, just envisioning like either like magnets on either side of you, or like a divine sacred fire in front of you, and asking that all energies that are not authentically yours be released into the magnets or into the fire. And also you can feel into like the grounding cord. I would have prepped that, but yeah, envision yourself like grounded to the core of Mother Gaia as well, and you can release into that as well. And envisioning a huge golden orb, kind of like where your soul star is, and ask for all your energies to just be magnetized back to you, and have the energies be updated, enhanced, and cleansed and blessed for your highest and best, and return to you. Yeah, so it can be a really, quick process. It could be a little longer if you want to like inquire into like whose energy is this, and obviously like any energies that aren't yours, you can't really work with, you can't transmute. So it's best if you send it to earth, back to earth, to source, or back to the person's, I usually say like back to the higher self of the person so that they can do with it what they see fit. And yeah, yeah, essentially like really get into the habit of like knowing what your authentic energies feel like, because so many of the times like when we're feeling shit, like it's just not even our energy. And you know, like generational, like ancestral familial stuff has been in our field for so long, we've mistaken it for our own. And yeah,
That's,
so
yeah, so powerful. And it's true, like, especially as starseeds, which will be like pretty much everyone watching this video and drawn to this work or this light language, like,
yeah,
starseeds are coded differently. Like,
absolutely.
we don't necessarily actually, like, we do come in with karma because it's how we learn and it's other things like that. But, you know, so much of what we are carrying with us is often not ours. And like I says, like, we can't work with energy that's not ours. So sometimes, you know, when it's someone, when you can identify like maybe it's from a family member or, you know, a loved one, it can be hard to do the return to sender thing, right? So again, you can just return to source or to the earth and say, please, you know, make use of this for the highest good for all. Because, you know, sometimes we don't want to just like dump it back on the person because there's maybe a reason you've taken it on, right? It's a habitual thing because it's the dynamic you have with a family member or something like that, right? So it can be a block to like returning it. But
Sure.
at the same time, it doesn't serve to hold on to it either. It just weighs you down and you feel the density of it because, yeah, it's not like working with your own karmic blocks, which can be alchemized and you can break free from.
That's the thing too, is creating space so you can work on what is actually yours, because you have your own shit, sorry, you have your own stuff that's very, you know, like we all have our own stuff to work through. And if you're carrying everyone else's, you can't do your own divine work. So yeah, it's really, it's not selfish, truly. Like it's really like the best thing you could do really is like to focus on your own work so you can be at a higher frequency to like have other people, like hopefully, you know, in holding your own energetic signature, people can rise to meet you at a higher wavelength, you know, higher
Oh, for
frequency.
sure. Yeah, yeah.
Anyway, it's like we're not doing anyone a favor by like meeting them, you know, where they are every time. That's something that Bridge is constantly reminding me of too, which has been really helpful
Well,
because
yeah.
I've tended to do that.
Well, same. I mean, it's huge patterning, but like
Yeah.
it's also that thing of it's totally that sister wound, brother wound we were talking about around like dimming the light and just like being like, oh, I'm just gonna like play small or try and be like as, you know, like tiny as possible so I don't get in your way, you know.
Exactly.
um,
Oh gosh.
but it's like, yeah, that is actually like one thing Spirit's been really like shoving in my face recently is about, you know, we have a sense of a karmic duty to step up and to speak truth sometimes, even if it makes someone uncomfortable. Because if we
Yep.
don't, then, you know, we're fucking up our own karmic trajectory. We really are. So we
Mhm.
kind of have to be okay with sometimes, you know, triggering people and not taking that on as something that we have to then, you know, that's a sort of like being okay with that space, because a lot of the time that's also where the healing can happen or not, and it's okay if it doesn't happen as well.
Totally. No expectations. Yeah. Sometimes those hard conversations are what's really truly like what people actually need and want to hear. And then
Yeah,
they're grateful that you actually said it
yeah.
because they need to hear it. Sometimes like spirits working through all of us to have a, like we all have messages for each other, you know.
Yeah, especially you with that third eye to heart, like you can speak the truth but you do it with so much grace from your heart and from your loving like heart space, so it's
Thank
nice. Yeah.
I try. Sometimes I'm like, I'm not gonna say it. And then like spirit will be like, say it.
Yeah. Oh gosh, I know.
So I'll like beat around the bush for a little bit and then it'll come out.
Yeah, for real, I resonate totally.
It's
Yeah.
yeah, we're all working through such conditioning and programming, so it's important to have compassion for ourselves for not like being able to say the truth right away, like taking baby steps. That's what I really feel called to say right now is like
Yes.
once like in the process of shadow work, it's like one little baby step of integration and like application at a time, and then sooner or later you're just gonna surprise yourself with like how much more you can stand in your truth.
True. It's so wise. Yeah. Love that. Well, how are we doing? Do you have anything? Oh yeah, we want to talk about your program. That's what
Oh
we
yeah.
want to talk about. I'm like putting you on the spot. Ha ha ha. But
I'm excited to share. It feels like a long time coming. I've been preparing for this for a while.
oh, do you want to talk about your Egypt trip as well?
Oh my gosh, yes. Oh my gosh, yes, this is perfect because yeah, I'm sure your audience has heard, or if not, like you would definitely want to know about this amazing person. His name's Matthias De Stefano. And he's really amazing. He has a show on Gaia and like remembers all his past lives and has such potent medicine for all of us. And he's holding an event in Egypt that I felt super called to go to. So I'm going in February, end of February. It's like a planetary activation sort of thing at the pyramids. You can find out more information. I feel like I'm going to butcher it a little bit if I try to explain, but the website we can link it to, right? But it's Yosoy YOSOY 2022 .org, I believe. Yeah, I'll double check. But yeah, so I'm gonna go to Egypt, and I know it's gonna be super activating. I've been like having past life regressions as you have been of my past lives in Egypt, and I'm very connected to Mama Sekhmet, and she comes through a lot in my channelings too. So I'm super excited for that trip. I feel like it's gonna be a huge initiation and activation for me personally. And yeah, and so after that, I'm going to launch the program that you were speaking to. It's kind of similar to your VIP experience, a little different. Mine is also 3 months, but we'll be meeting for 6 modules, so to speak. And I have a structure for the program essentially, but obviously like spirit and intuition will guide me through, so it might be a little different and cater to the person's needs. But essentially, yeah, it's about doing shadow work and walking through a process of shadow work and integration and soul realignment. So I'll start it off with the soul realignment reading, and then that'll guide me. That'll kind of be our like North Star for how to live in accordance to your soul's blueprint. And yeah, hopefully, yeah, I think I covered most of it. If there are any questions, of course, feel free to reach out. Yeah, it's all about just truly all it is is what we were talking about earlier, is like being who you truly are, like coming full circle back to your authenticity and your truth and how to live your divinity, like bringing out your gifts into the world however you see fit. Or Mhm.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I feel like also like you are such an expert in shadow work. Like, and I feel like that's something that, it's a huge term thrown around in spiritual communities and stuff, but it's like, yeah, but you embody that work. Like you have really gone there and done that so deeply. And I think sometimes it's hard to convey that, just in a general way. It's like, how do I, talk to the shadow work I've done, right? Because it's so deep and personal. And but it's so necessary, and we have to balance out the whole like ascension and light and stuff. We have to get real, like, do you know what I mean? Like, and that's what I love about you, is like you're actually so authentic. And just like
Likewise. Thank you. Oh,
no
yeah, it's so
passing
refreshing.
over here, guys, don't worry, like it's um but yeah, so 3-month program, like really cool, limited spots, very limited spots, starting beginning of March, right? 1st of March. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
so is there like they can email you or look it up on
Yeah,
your
so I have a website and I'll leave my email, or you can email or contact me via the website.
website?
And if you want prior to the program starting to, like, have like a call or do like a one-off session just to kind of feel how it is to work with me, you can book that on my website as well. Um, but otherwise, I'll be um, uh, putting out details for the program soon.
Yeah, and she has her own YouTube, like I said.
Yeah, I just started that recently.
Yeah, but like seriously, guys, like she's already been helping me and healing me in her own way, even though I'm fucking working with her. Like she's so generous and open-hearted. But like I just feel really grateful that I have someone I can refer people to as well, because I'm not taking clients at the moment. I'm fully booked, and also, just going through like so much of my own process, that it's like I'm really excited to actually take some time off in like around March and just like integrate my own work and just like be in that space, because like I kind of haven't even taken a break since I started YouTube, like not properly, like I've
Right,
little bits, but it's like I'm just like ready to dive in.
totally. You
So
deserve
yeah,
that.
yeah, thank you.
It's divine timing, right? Like I really I can't believe how magical this feels to have you in my life. And thank you so much for sharing me with your community and trusting me,
Yeah,
because it means everything to me. Thank you.
definitely trust you. Beautiful. All right. Well, I'll link all of Aya's information, her YouTube, her website, any other contact things that need to be done, in the description box. And I'll also link the soul realignment course if you guys are interested in checking that out. And yeah, it's been an honor to do a little collaboration. It's been so much fun.
Thank you so much again for having me, and so much love to all of you.
Yeah,
Thank you for watching.
so much love. Talk to you soon.